What's going on, YouTube family? We are back with another video, and you know what we're talking about? Yes, we are talking about chapter 1056 of One Piece. And you know we had to hurry up and get out this chapter review because we're trying our best to avoid those spoilers, man. It's so hard to avoid spoilers in the One Piece fandom, I'm telling you. I'm still trying to figure out how people get access to them spoilers so early. I don't know. We will not let it kill the vibe. We can't. So, we're going to go ahead and get into that. But, of course, before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you get the content as soon as it drops. And, of course, hit the like button so that you can help the channel to grow. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right back into it. So, of course, starting back out in the Flower Capital, we're chilling, hanging out. Everybody's getting back to having a good time since Green Bull done ran out of town with his tail between his legs from last chapter. But how about this? Kinemon decides that he wanted to go to Cordy and hang out with his wife Utsuru, which is understandable. But this man was out there clapping cheeks while everybody else was getting their cheeks clapped. So come on, man. Kinemon, man, come on. It was the wrong time to clap some cheeks. But yeah, he feels sorry though because, you know, he feels like he could have contributed something, made it a little bit more even of a fight, you know. I don't really know because with the condition that we find Raizo and Shinobu in when we see them is like, they look worse than King and Queen did in chapter 1054. No, 1053. But they look a lot worse than King and Queen did in 1053. So, but you know, they were able to get back in. They got some IV drips going on, everything. So they get nursing their way back to health, and they look bad though. But at the same time, Kinemon's like, man, hey, I do again feel sorry, but you got to remember, it's been 20 years since I seen my wife. I had to go check her out, make sure she's okay, make sure she's good. She got a little burn mark on her face that she's nursing back to health, but otherwise she's pretty good, you know. He got a little smile out of that. And then Dogstorm gonna try and rain on his parade. He's like, man, get out of here with that puppy love stuff. But Cat Viper's like, and Kiku are like, hey man, hey, relax, man, cut him some slack. You know, yeah, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but you gotta remember, it has actually been 20 years since he's got a chance to really hang out and do the husbandly duties. But so yeah, they was like just chilling. And it ended up being a little bit more lighthearted toward the end of that particular conversation, but it is what it is. So then we move on. And Kara enters the room. She's picking out. She's got all kinds of kebabs in her hand. She's just being Kara. So Cat Viper and Dogstorm just bring the news to her real quick. Hey, you're going to be the new ruler of the Mink dynasty. So be prepared for that when you go back to Zou. And then at first she has one of those moments like, oh
yeah, of course you will. That's very.
Then they're like, yeah. I mean, you're the perfect candidate. You've grown so much. We've seen you be so much in this war. You contributed quite a bit. And then she's like, well, you know, I'm being modest. I ain't really the strongest out of everybody here. And you know, everybody comes in, the Three Musketeers specifically, and I'm like, well, you don't necessarily have to be. We're gonna be strong enough to protect you while you're in the country ruling it, and you ain't got nothing to worry about. But you know what? You're gonna be the one that's gonna be able to keep Pedro's legacy alive. He is gonna live through you, and because of the bond that you guys shared, no one else could make that happen more so than you. So yeah, everyone is in agreement with Dog Storm and Cat Viper. You go ahead and rule the country. You do your thing, and we got your back no matter what. So a little touching moment. Everybody's, looking out for Carrot, and definitely ends the debate that Carrot is going to become a Straw Hat. Cannot do that now, man. It probably would have been pretty cool to have Carrot as a Straw Hat, but she definitely can't do it now. So again, that ends that debate permanently of her becoming a Straw Hat member, just like it did with Vivi. Vivi was kind of on the borderline of actually running away and joining the Straw Hats, but she realized that, hey, I got a kingdom to run. So, as we see Zoe kind of walking away during the end of that conversation, we run back to over wherever Sukiyaki has been, but he is now, instead of being with Robin and Law from last chapter, he is now with Momonosuke and Hiyori, so that he can explain, hey, sorry it's so sudden, but I'm your grandfather, and I'm in your debt. Sorry that I didn't tell you this sooner, but they're like, you don't have to apologize. We're just happy to have some family still alive, other than each other. So we're actually excited about this. No one really thinks to say anything about the fact that he stayed quiet for so long, but they're just so happy to have live relatives other than each other that I don't really blame them. We can worry about that particular conversation for a later time. It is what it is. And then Sukiyaki's like, hey, I know the Scabbards. I know you guys kind of more likely already knew it was me the whole time, but I appreciate y'all not putting me on blast like that. Why did Kinemon, being as slow as ever, not know that it was Sukiyaki all along? And it's like, Kinemon, how can you be this dense? And Denjiro never ever actually sees through Kinemon being loopy about different things. It's so funny. It's so funny that their dynamic is Denjiro thinks that Kinemon is a brilliant genius. He's just always hanging off everything that Kinemon says, but at the same time Kinemon's I didn't really know what I was talking about, but at least it's rallied the troops together. But hey, that's just that dynamic, and it's hilarious. Then, of course, we cut back to Robin actually telling the Straw Hats about Pluton being here. Frankie, reasonably so, of all people, is like, what? Pluton was here the whole time? What in the world is really going on? So, again, Frankie is just losing it because he was like, man, I had the blueprints, I memorized them joints, but I didn't really know this joint was already in existence. And then he turns to Luffy, he's like, hey, Luffy, is there a chance that you actually want to get Pluton? And Luffy, normally, just hey, yeah, nah, I'm good. But Luffy actually understands, I don't want something that dangerous in my possession. I am dangerous enough. I am the hype.
Do you really believe your own hype that much? I am the hype!
And Luffy, that is indeed Luffy's attitude about pretty much everything, bro. I am the hype. I don't need anything else to help me out. That's why we see him jump into situations like he does, because he knows he has assessed the situation, and he feels like, hey, I'm going to win. I got this. I ain't worried about nobody else. Y'all go ahead and take a back seat if y'all need to, or y'all can jump in and help me out if y'all want to. I believe it might be Nami who actually asks the same thing that everybody else has asked so far. Since knowing that Pluton is here in Wano, is why in the world would Oden want to release that joint? It doesn't really make any sense. But we kind of get left on the cliffhanger of that question, because then Shinobu breaks in looking young as ever, like when the flashbacks when Oden was still alive. And everybody's like, who in the world are you? And of course, obviously, Sanji's going to have his 2 cents. He's going to be like, yeah, you had one heck of a glow up just now. Shinobu is back to looking back how she did when it was in the, the flashbacks. Which kind of makes me wonder if Raizo actually received the same treatment. He had the same scenario going on. Did he also become strikingly handsome? But we ain't even yet to see him. I guess maybe he's a little bit, since he's a ninja, he's a little bit more reserved. He ain't really out there trying to show off all that good stuff. But he did actually say, I wish I was a little more handsome. Otama is like, hey, you know what? I'm going to stick here with Shinobu and become a great shinobi warrior. Can I grow up and be a part of your crew years later when you come back? And he's like, well, yeah, if you keep on doing what you're doing and become a great shinobi, then you're definitely welcome to. We'll definitely hook up. We'll definitely hook that up. I'm so confused about how this Joker even gets here. When did Caribou even get to Wano? I'm trying to remember, because I remember the last time I remember actually seeing Caribou was at Fishman Island, where he had... Man, he is such a disgusting character. He is a disgusting character. But, like, the last time I remember seeing Caribou was back on Fishman Island when they folded this Joker and left him in a barrel. Frankie had actually... That's the last thing I remember from Caribou. Actually, no. That's when he had gotten out of there and he caused trouble and he kidnapped some of the mermaids and stuff like that. So that was the last thing I remember from him. But I don't remember him getting on anybody's ship that was going to Wano. So how in the world did this clown even get to Wano? For him to have one panel that's like, hey, Pluton's in Wano. And first we run across Poseidon. Now we're checking out Wano has Pluton. I know somebody who would like to know about this. And then we don't see him no more. One panel. You're a bum. You're a slime ball, literally. And I can't stand your character. Where did you even come from again? But anyway, we're going to move past that because I'm giving him too much screen time. However, so, we have a little break in action. We have some fun. A few days later, Momonosuke is getting all kinds of love because he's become the Shogun now, and everybody's saying, hey, the restoration plans are in place. We're ready to go ahead and start whenever you tell us to, because all the funds have already been acclimated and allotted, is the word I actually meant to say, appropriately. So let's go ahead and get to it at your word. But he's not paying any attention to that whatsoever, because what is he doing? He's looking initially for Zoro, because he wants Zoro to teach him some swordplay. Hey, in fact, as he's walking into the room where he thought that everybody was, he's like, hey, Zoro, teach me some sword. So then, of course, he makes the mad dash to try and find everybody, and he always like, you're a little bit late. They're on their way out. They're dipping. They're loading up their ships. They're about to peace out, and if you don't hurry up, you're going to miss out on saying bye to them. So he's like, alright. So then we go back over, speaking of, we go over to Law, Kid, and Luffy are talking about, hey, so the log poses now, of course, you know, they have the 3 arrows because of the particular part of the world they're in. It actually has where each individual option has 3 different locations where you can head next. So since there's 3 of them, and they decided for some odd reason to leave at the same time, they're like, hey, which way you going, which way you going, which way you going. Luffy, Law is really super quick to tell Luffy, hey, our alliance is over, bro. We're enemies again. I don't need you no more. So, I don't know what you're thinking about, but you need to go in a different direction than I am, because I might attack you. Essentially is what he was saying. So they kind of do draw lots or whatever, or on the count of 3 type of thing, say where they're going. Law says he's going one direction, which no one else says, but Kid and Luffy say the same direction. They say that they're going to go east, down straight down the middle, and Luffy, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below, but if I'm not mistaken, Luffy pulls a flex on Kid, and it's like, bruh, I'm the Emperor. I get to say where I want to go. I don't think I've ever seen or heard Luffy flex his position on somebody to get what he wants. That blew my mind. I was like, hold on a second. Did Luffy just flex his position, his new position as an Emperor on Kid because they decided to try and go the same direction? Bruh, that was boss, bruh. Luffy is feeling himself, bruh. He is definitely feeling himself. I don't think I've ever heard him or seen him flex on somebody with his position in any part of the story, because he's usually so carefree and so go with the flow that we don't really ever see him care to flex on anybody. So seeing this side of Luffy was like, yo, okay. When Luffy decides to flex on him, he was like, man, you Emperor types are a cocky bunch, and but neither one of y'all make me mad more than this clown, literally. And then he shows him a picture of Buggy, who we now have gotten to see that Sir Crocodile and Mihawk have actually officially joined his crew. And everybody's like, what in God's green earth? How? How did that happen? And we're still wondering. Even Zoro's like, bruh, there's no way in the world. I couldn't imagine Hawkeye doing that. What's really going on? But you know, they read the paper and it has a picture of him, clear as day, Cross Guild. Which we come back to the title of the chapter, showing that they have now all partnered under Buggy. And then of course we get to the point where their Cross Guild business venture is putting bounties now on the government officials. If you are a big time Marine, you got a bounty. We now have it where everyone's getting bounties now. The world government has been putting bounties on the pirates for ages, and now Buggy has taken that concept and decided to turn it on its head, and now Marines are getting bounties for themselves. So quite interesting dilemma we have now in the world. And of course Kid points that out. He's like, you know, sounds like a lot has changed in the world since we've been stuck in this isolated country. So what's next? What's next? What we gotta do? We gotta jump back out there, see what's going on, get a real feel for how everything's going, so we can insert ourselves back into society. And not making any excuses, man. So we gotta, every man for himself at this point. Which he's got a point, because, you know, again, as Law mentioned, that alliance stuff is over. You know, they're going their own separate ways. Law was nice enough to provide a copy of the road poneglyph to Kid before he left. So he was like, you know, that would only be sport to me, because you did play a major part in getting rid of the two of the biggest problems in our path to getting to the One Piece. So it would really be kind of a jerk move if I didn't provide you with this help. So there you go. And then of course Kid decides that he still, even after last chapter when we saw the amazing feat of haki that Shanks decided to provide, Kid still wants to actually go after him. Like, are you serious? Are you stupid? Did you not just see the level of power this man's haki? Does anyone else rival that? Can you rival that? You are going down if you attack this man. He is going to break you. And yet, you're still wanting to go after the man marked with flames. I don't think you learned from last chapter about why that's a bad idea. You'll find out. You will find out. But for the last scene of the chapter, we get Momonosuke and Kinemon from the top of the shrine, from the top of the palace. Yamato yells down and tells Kinemon and Momonosuke, hey, I've been putting a lot of thought into this, and it's official. I'm going to go ahead and leave out with the Straw Hats. I'm about to head out that way right now. And essentially, it's like, just like that. So, it's a pretty cool chapter. Like I said, not too much going on. Kind of laid back, more informational than anything else. And now we are officially leaving Wano. Now, there was no more talk after that about if someone's going to actually take Pluton with them somehow, or if no more talks about opening the borders to Wano, anything like that. So it was pretty much just left in the air. So by the way Oda left it, I think that's his way of saying that we are not ready to reveal that, and that is going to come much later when the big war against the world government comes around, or it could be the one that ends up being against Blackbeard. Who knows? More likely against the world government, though. There you have it for that chapter. Y'all tell me y'all's thoughts down in the comment section down below. What y'all think? What was y'all's opinions? Did y'all like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I doubt you hated it, but if you did, still let me know down in the comment section down below, and I'll holler at y'all in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.